So, welcome everybody. I hope you can see me a little bit, but you know how I look. We have some people here around also, where we are. Welcome. And we start as usual with the guided meditation. So we just sit comfortably. And just landing on this spot, so to speak. We'll start a little bit differently today. We start by putting the attention on what is usually called the heart chakra, which is the point in the middle of the chest. Just slightly, gently, softly having the attention there, not concentrating too much, not focusing really. Just be there with the attention softly. Just gently, softly feel this area. And now we stop having the attention there and we will enter the non-dual meditation, which means that we just allow this moment to be exactly as it is, not interested in anything specific and doing absolutely nothing. And if thoughts are rising, trying to grab attention, it's not any problem really. Thoughts are also part of this meditation. We don't push them away. We are simply not interested in them. And then they usually will subside. We just allow the thoughts and everything else to be here as they already are. We allow the moment to be exactly as it is. Not interested in anything particular. And doing absolutely nothing. If certain phenomena are rising, for instance, in the body, whatever it is, we treat them in the same way. It's the same with emotions arising. We don't try to fix anything here. We're not analyzing anything. Just stop doing everything. Let the moment be as it is. Not interested in anything particular. Just sitting here and doing absolutely nothing. Just allow the moment to be as it is. Okay, we can take 1 or 2 minutes to come out to meditation. So the topic for today, if you have seen it beforehand, is a little bit provocative. Transition from a teacher to student is a trap. Transitions from a teacher to the student is a trap. And it's quite good to understand why this is a trap. Because it's based on the idea that a teacher has something which you have not. That is not true. All of us is totally enlightened in this moment, totally liberated. And I know it's a strong tradition to have this idea that the teacher has something that he can, so to speak, give to the so-called students or seekers. This is not true. How can something be given to somebody else if reality is one? And it is. Can something be given to somebody else, for instance, as some kind of Shaktipat or Diksha or oneness blessing or whatever it is based on the idea that there is someone who's giving something to somebody else. But that is not true, because reality is one. We are all one, so to speak, without being one as people. So when people have this idea, we all have it. I also have it. I had it. That is enough to be with the teacher. It's enough to sit at the master's feet, as it is called. And then everything will be fine. Then everything, I will get enlightened. And in my own journey, I was a little bit astonished, a little bit surprised that I met people very close to the teacher who has been with the teacher for 10, 15 years. They don't seem to be very free. In some cases, I met them before they were there a long time. Then I met them 10 years later. It doesn't seem that anything has happened. And they don't proclaim their freedom either. So what is it that we believe will happen? Oh, we're just going to be with the teacher, that's all. The same trap I also went into. It's because we have the belief in duality. We believe that reality is dual. There's someone there who can give something there. But it is not. If everything is one, where should you go to reach it? So why were we talking about this? Yeah, because it has practical consequences. Just to take away one more misunderstanding because it's actually reinforcing and supporting the idea that life is duality, which is not. And it's just very strange because we are supposed to seek for oneness. And in our very searching for oneness, we come into situations which is based on duality. So the teacher doesn't have anything that you have not. We are all standing on the top of the mountain, beside each other. There's none of them standing there or standing a little bit up on some kind of step, standing on the same level. The only difference is that the teacher knows, if he or she is there, of course, totally, knows how it is, as there are no restrictions. Life is a flow. And the other ones doesn't see. We think that we are on the way up to the top of the mountain. But we are not. We are already standing there beside each other, enjoying each other, enjoying life. So it's good to have this understanding. It's not about somebody else who's going to fix your life. It's about you in the present moment. Either you're using the Nondual Meditation to, so to speak, step aside and becoming open automatically, not trying to be open. And the truth will be seen because it's already there in everyone. The truth is the truth. You can't have more truth. There's no one who has more truth. Maybe more aspects can be seen in some people, but it's the same truth. And, of course, the second part, as you know by now, to question our beliefs about ourselves, our negative beliefs about ourselves, which makes our life so miserable when we believe them to be true. Which is triggering these emotions and the tension in the body and other destructive beliefs. This is the work that is to do with us, not depending on some other person or a teacher, for instance. Maybe that is what Papaji was meaning when he said that there is no teaching, there is no teacher, and there is no student. In my interpretation, is focusing on that this is a trap to think that there's one up there. I will go to him or her and he will fix me. But the practicality, if we look at it in practicality, it doesn't work. And we know by looking at it more in principle, as we just did, we know why. Because it's not about going from A to B. You're already at B. B as being, you could say. It's about discovering what is already here. And now I'm going to say something totally opposite. And I don't know what's going to happen here. Because there are other aspects of this. Someone is giving something to somebody else. It's a little bit deeper that, actually. So instead of criticizing any teachers who is doing that kind of stuff, I will take them back in business, so to speak, by looking at another aspect of this, by using a metaphor. And that metaphor is that the teacher is like a tuning fork. You know this in music, bang, like a tuning fork. And the teacher, if he or she is clear, this tuning fork is also unrestricted, shining. And maybe that is what we can feel a little bit when we are close to a teacher, physically also, and online also. You can feel that. Some kind of shining presence or whatever you want to call it. But that doesn't mean that he or she is special. You have the same tuning fork in you. It's just that the tuning fork in you, still using the same metaphor, is not shining so much. It is actually shining 100%. Actually. But it is not seen like that. It's not felt like that. It's not experienced like that. Of course, there's only one tuning fork at the end, but it's a metaphor. And what can happen in practicality is that if you are close to the teacher physically, it can be that the tuning fork in you starts to vibrate more easily and more clearly, more strongly, and things can be seen. For instance, the thoughts may be more quiet. The thought quiet is coming down. We're getting still. Are we getting still? Things can start to happen. It's like a non-dual meditation, but in another way. So, what we have been doing, what I have been doing last week, 10 days, is to experiment a little bit with this. It just happened spontaneously that I started to put hands on people's head. And a little bit surprised of it myself, to be honest. But who's the chooser here? There's nothing that can be chosen to stop also. So just testing it. That's an experiment, you could say. When we have live sessions in Ireland and now here in Lithuania. And it actually worked quite good. People have shared that the mind stops. Not only experiences, because experiences we can always have experience. No? We can meet some teacher, it's a beautiful hall and it's a beautiful quietness in the hall and everybody has the same focus, freedom. And they like the guy sitting there up and on the stage maybe and so on. So everything's just beautiful and can feeling of love and being together and so on. And some joy and peace. But that is experiences. We're not after experiences here. We're after the truth, which is not an experience. The truth is to see what is. Insight is an insight, an understanding how it is, what my life is all about. An understanding which is not intellectual also. It's just a sudden insight or gradually. Okay, this is how it is. This is what my life is all about. I'm total bliss and love. Just living, existing, beautiful, enjoying. But we are not after the experiences. When I had my hands on my head many times, during the so-called past, which is also a trap. We have been into that before. I felt a beautiful experience. So peaceful and some kind of vibrating vibration on the head and so on. But that's an experience. It's an experience. No insights came that way, to be honest. No insights came. After 5,000 times with the hands on my head, I just had to realize that the team doesn't seem to work. And everything else I have discovered, it doesn't work. But, yeah, it's a but. When I was using it myself on people, because I was trained to do that also, it was actually 3 people who woke up. So how should we think about this? Huh? Is the theory wrong or? And I realized that why they woke up is before, because firstly they are ready when they come. Yes, there's a readiness when they come into a meeting, and you know they're going to have some kind of hands from a so-called teacher on your head. There's an openness there from the very beginning, some kind of being available. The half job is done. And then this having the hands on, if the teacher is clear, the fork, the tuning fork is shining brightly. And then the tuning fork in the other one may start to shine, to vibrate as well. And this seems to be the result of what we have been doing in the last 10 days. But that, of course, has been in live sessions, me putting this physical, so to speak, hands on people. And they all say they just want more. So we have 2 or 3 per person for those people who wanted it. And everyone wanted it, with very few exceptions. So why I'm telling this then? Is it that you should invite me to come to you or something? So we can do this on location? You're nodding, Jolanta. But I just came from you. So why do we say this? Yes, because the next step was to test, to experiment more. And it sounds crazy. I know. Is it possible that it can work online? Is it possible it can work online? I can't put my hands on you, but maybe there is another method to simulate the same. And this is also what we have been experimenting with the last days here. And it seems to work, actually. So, yeah, the guy is crazy. It's just have to realize that maybe it is working. And why not try everything? If we understand the principles behind it, it's about the tuning fork starting your tuning fork to vibrate. And of course, you're here now. It's not a picture of you. Maybe that will work also. That is not the next test. But you are here now. So I would like to experiment with you for those who want to, of course. But before we do that, I would just be silent now and you can ask questions about anything. So Floyd, he says something similar happened with me last 1 week. A healer teacher how I know well shared a healing method with me, but I realized that people can still experience a sense of healing, relaxation, awareness just by sitting with them. Yeah, what we are talking about is something which is shifting in you. We have to distinguish between what we said. An experience, a nice experience, which doesn't help anything about enlightenment actually. And it's actually shifting. And it seems that those people who have been sharing their experiences during the last 10 days, they say that there comes to a stop of thinking. And of course, we know that stop of thinking can be some kind of openness for the truth, so to speak, to show itself. So, anyone else have any questions or comments to add?
Yeah, I guess Fritz will speak up.
Yeah, come on, Fritz. Let's have the protest coming.
No protest,
Okay.
exactly. But no, just so what encourages this idea that the teacher has something you don't have, as an example? It's because, like for instance, you mentioned Papaji. When I sat with him, there was all sorts of really strong energy, just in the environment. And I gotta admit that dynamic where I thought, oh, he's got something I don't, did come up. And it's happened with other teachers too, where there's I can feel that energy really, not in the head. And yeah, that thought that, gee, I wish I had what they have, that sort of thing does come up, has come up. And I've also encountered people with a lot of energy who weren't awake, who were demonstrably not awake. So yeah, maybe you could comment on that.
As you say, people are different. Teachers are different. I'm a teacher doesn't have any energy at all, but he was still awakened. So the criteria for being, so to speak, free is not necessarily that they have some kind of charisma or some kind of energy moving, which other people can feel. Doesn't have to be like that. Many people who are awakened, they never say that they are awakened. You can find some kind of book maybe in the drawer when they die or something. Oh, what happened to that person? They were just ordinary people, but they knew they had a truth. But they didn't have this, so to speak, atmosphere of some kind of energy around them. But we can go to other areas of life which has nothing to do with the awakening, and we can have the same there, people who, for instance, we like to be in their company because they don't seem to want something from me. When someone doesn't want something from you, you get relaxed, you feel, and they are probably not awakened at all. So there's a lot of mixed aspects of this. But of course, as you say, if you are free from psychological issues, because that is what we are talking about very much. If you have no restrictions, you have no negative beliefs about yourself, you don't want anything from somebody else, you get quite nice to be around. And then people will interpret this as some kind of this energy I also want, so to speak. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's good to understand that they don't have anything else than you already have yourself. It's just a matter of discovering that. And we do it, and as we know, from with two parts of approaching that. Yeah, and Tanya, you say, I will just say what you said here. I totally agree about the two aspects of teaching. Teacher can't fix me and not enough to be next. Possible to tune in truth more easy with the teacher. Yeah, it is. It's more easy to tune in to the, so to speak, truth of how, which means how it really is. It's not truth in the sky up there. It's here now, or really it's the case. It's easier to do that with people who doesn't have any ego, huh? Doesn't have any agenda, doesn't have any idea to go from A to B. So in that way, but that is not the same as saying that it's enough. That is the point here. No? It's not enough to sit with the teacher. We also need to look at ourselves and what is actually the obstacle for not seeing the truth which is already residing behind it all. And of course, if we understand this, and people usually do after some time, maybe long time in some cases, they go away from the teacher and just start to look at themselves. Throw away the books, so to speak. Throw away, tired of all the teachings. And just start to look, well, what is really here? But instead of waiting for this to happen, why not start with it already now? So Floyd asked the question, can we completely forget teachers and still attain? Yes and no. We can completely forget about teachers. You can still be totally awakened, of course, because you're already awakened. So it's about discovering that. And you don't need to have a teacher for that, actually. But the other aspect is, it's so many traps on the way. I'm talking about own experiences here. There's so many misunderstandings. And honestly, it took a long time for me to find a teacher who could clarify these misunderstandings for me, and to talk about the traps that we can go into. And if it's a skillful teacher, so to speak, skillful means that the person, this teacher has really gone into that traps himself or herself. This can be a good resource, because most of what we're doing here in the guided meditations, in the guided individual sessions, is to discover, discovering from here the traps that the client or the seeker goes into. And there are many. And usually it happens quite often that when this trap is seen, because I myself went into them. It's not a book knowledge here. It's about own experience. And in that sense, a teacher can be very, very helpful. But to also see that that guy is not going to fix it for you, but can guide you beautifully if you want to. Anything else around this?
Krista,
Mm-hmm.
there is in India, this is Floyd here. In India, we have this sort of, I think it's a belief, but they say, without Guru, it is not possible at all to attain anything. And there is a sort of idea of, the Guru blessing the people coming to him. So, so as you said, everyone is at the same level, but still somewhere, I feel when I came to you, or when I came to different teachers, when I went to different teachers, I felt that there is a sense of them giving some kind of love or blessings. Otherwise, it was not sort of possible, to get certain kind of shift with them. Like, this is what I felt, but how do you explain that phenomenon of, because it's like, you can't go to a teacher and completely be indifferent, there will be this human aspect of blessing or love or whatever you want to call it.
Yes, of course it is. Just replace it. If you have a loving grandfather, it can also be a blessing for you. So this human aspect is, of course, there. And the teacher is usually a very loving, so to speak, person. There's no person there, but we usually think there is. So there is love and there's acceptance. Acceptance is the meaning that you can be totally who you are in the presence of that teacher. Totally who you are. And that is also very supporting, that here I don't have to play any role. I can speak about what is actually the most important thing, existential questions about my life. And the one is actually listening to me, also amazing, huh? He doesn't run away. You can speak to the point and to the end, huh? So of course there is that human perspective also, that is some kind of, and the love is of course the most important. That we have in some kind of loving atmosphere, which is very supporting in itself. But that is not enough. That is the point. It is not enough for the shift to happen. We have our own unique insights to be made. But of course, I don't deny that the teachers that I have been with, several teachers, have given me a lot on the way. But it was at the end, I was actually, so to speak, went away from the teachers. I went away from the books. I went away from the exercises. I went away from everything and just sat down. Yeah, as you know, in India. And then it happened. So sooner or later, we have to come to that place, that situation, that we have to look at ourselves. What is the obstacle for not seeing the truth if it's already here? It can be very good support, of course, and guide, to have guidance from a teacher, definitely. This is also what we have been seeing the last years, when I started to do this. People are really evolving, so to speak, not evolving in some kind of steps, but really waking up. Even to my surprise, even. I don't know if that is enough for you, Floyd, or do you have any following question?
Yeah, the other question is,
oh, one thing more about the first part you said. Sorry to interrupt you. I just say, if you can you be awakened without having a teacher. Well, Ramana Maharshi, one of the biggest giants in this, so to speak, area of freedom, he didn't have any teacher. So of course you can wake up without a teacher. And I have another example, actually, very much closer to me. That's my son, who got it when he was 12. There was no teacher there. So it's not so easy to see rules here. We can just see that there are so many ways of getting it. You can just be some kind of cosmic whoops like this, like the woman who yeah, you know this case, Fritz, is an American woman who wrote a book about it, but the ego just went away when she went on the bus.
Suzanne Siegel.
Suzanne Siegel, yeah. She wrote a book about it later also. So it seems, on the bottom line, it seems that the truth has many, many ways of showing itself for human beings. And I don't think it's any rule really, but it comes back to that everyone is a unique individual. It happens in many, many ways. Yes, Floyd.
Yeah, it also seems to apply to the masters or the teachers that after realizing the truth, that they also want to share it. Like Papaji's wife, I don't know, maybe his second wife or whoever, Meera Ganga. So she said that Papaji would read some, some things from books to her, Ramana Maharshi's books or some books. He would just read something in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would enjoy it a lot if she responded to that, if she asked questions, if she, interacted about them later during the day, whenever it would happen, he would enjoy that conversation. So it seems like there is also a sort of, thing coming from the masters also, that they also want to express this and want to give this to the kind of people who are willing to take it.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. And when there is no person, who's gonna choose to do what? So this is just happening. And if people ask me sometimes, why do you do this, especially for no money? I just say the same. I don't know. I have no idea. It just happens in this way. This is just the way that this story is unfolding. And some people who get clear, they become teachers. Most people who get clear, they don't become teachers. So there are a lot of variety here, actually. But teachers, of course, we feel inspired somehow to share it with other people, because we're coming into the subject of compassion here. Because there's a lot of compassion usually rising in a teacher. And that to see that people are suffering so much. People are struggling so much. They're not happy. And then you sitting, so to speak, as I think Gangaji said once, you have a diamond on your pocket. You're sitting with that kind of beautiful, in that beautiful state, and with the beautiful tools how to get it. And there is some kind of natural feeling of helping people who wants to be helped, because it's very important to understand that it's not about the teacher going out, usually at least, not going out to find students. The students are usually finding the teacher. That is, of course, the right direction. It's about your longing that makes you come here. And it's your longing which is actually the driving force to understand more and to use the tools and so on. So it's a mix, the teacher and the student. Of course, that is a beautiful relationship, but we shouldn't focus so much on the idea that he will fix me, or she. That is the point. Something else about this? Seems to be some dynamic energy in this, so let's let's hear it more.
So there is some masters who say that when the disciple is ready, the master arrives. And some people, like you should not hunt for your master or elect or select your guru. That is what sometimes we try to, say, oh, he's my guru. Especially in India, we do that. We try to say, he is my guru, Krishna is my guru, and I put my Krishna's photo everywhere in my car, in my house, everything, And even if I have to take some decision, I will ask my guru about it. So, but then some masters or some teachers, they have the opinion that you should not be the one selecting. It should be like a natural, sort of falling in love, and naturally something has to evolve out of it.
And that, of course, it's based on the idea that there is someone who can choose anything. Who is going to select the guru? Who is going to chase a guru or not chase a guru? In both cases, it's presupposed that there is a person who have a choice. But there is no person. So what is happening is happening. It's just the unfoldment of the story. Some people, the longing is there. It starts with the longing in your heart. And that longing brings the teacher to come in the story. There's no one searching for any teacher really. Maybe we say, I need to have a guru or something. It's just ignorance, actually. You understand? It's not any, there is no seeker. There is no seeker. So who's going to seek for a guru then? It's just what happens here. And we have an opportunity as human beings to see what is actually true, why we have this body, so to speak, body. It just happened this way. And I know that it is a little bit different view on teachers in India and in the West, because in India, traditionally, the guru is not only some kind of guide for enlightenment, it also can give a lot of advices in all kinds of matters in the daily life. And we usually don't have that so much in the West. The Western teachers are more focused on liberation. Little bit of culture differences here also. And as you know, I never go into the story. I never give advice to the story. About focusing on one thing only. Anything else? So, who is brave? You don't say brave. We can see it. We
Mira.
don't. Yeah, I know, Mira.
You ask who is brave, I'm ready.
Yeah,
to
very
cry.
good. Yes,
Anyway.
I like it. I like it. Brave. So we don't have to see it so seriously. We can play with it a little bit. So what we can do now, for those who wants to, you can tell me on the chat that I want, okay? And then I will take one by one, and I will have, I don't know, I will not tell you what I do. That will be a secret. But then you will, I'm not, you don't have to be worried. It's nothing about some kind of black power coming into your system. Forget it. It's only about, we call it awakening of being. Awakening of being and if you remember this metaphor about the two forks, it's about focusing more intensively on your fork, so to speak, so we make it vibrate more. I'm not doing anything, honestly. Being or presence is doing the whole work here. So we can test it, okay? So what I will do now is I will start with Mira here. And what will you do in your part when I go from one to another? You just sit there and you do absolutely nothing. And I will tell you when it is, so to speak, finished. 1 minute per person. That's enough. 1 minute. Okay? So you don't have to wait so long time. Okay? I will start now. Now I will go to Egle. Now I will go to Jolanta too. Now I will go to Fritz. Now I will go to Kartik. We go to Tanya. Now we'll go to Gir. Now I'm going to Artem. Now I'm going to flight. I'm going to Rasa, but I need to see you, Rasa. Can you put on the video? Yeah, very good. And Dimitri, can you put on your video, Dimitri, so I can see you? If you're still here. Good. Let's start now. Naushik, you have your video on? Yeah? Yeah, see it now. We go into Natanya now. So if there is anyone I have forgotten, please come forward. You just sit in this space, and for those who want to, we see each other tomorrow. Yeah, I just mentioned what Tanya says. I feel something not depends you did for me or another. Exactly. This is what happened. I didn't do anything. Being or presence is doing it. It's just a little, should we say, tool that came. The being is doing everything here. So for you who wants to have more, you can come tomorrow. We see each other tomorrow for those who want. Same time. Thank you very much today.